Okay, so basic note today, all I wanted to talk about is a down payment on a mortgage. So we talked about what mortgages are. So we're on, this is technically the second section of chapter or unit 4, chapter 4 for us. This is on mortgages now. Okay, if you don't remember what a mortgage is, it is a compound interest loan. That's something we're going to talk about more about these next couple days coming up. It is a compound, that means very difficult to calculate, compound interest loan for a home. Again, it is only for a home that they use the word mortgage. So it's a home loan. They don't just do simple loans like you do on a normal bank for like a car or like an appliance or anything like that. The compound interest loan formula is very similar to a credit card. It's very similar to your student loan numbers. I think we've talked about that formula. That was a long time ago. We talked about that when we were doing loans
for cars.
Yeah, but it has a different car loan formula. We talked about compound I think it was second unit. That was way back in September. I think we introduced it, but we didn't really go into it too far in depth. Well, we're going to start seeing that probably tomorrow and Friday. Okay. Today is just to talk about one piece of a mortgage, and it is called the down payment. This is the part of the loan process that a lot of people tend to forget about. Okay, you're going to go, instead of renting a place and kind of wasting money. That's what my parents always said. If you're renting, you're kind of wasting money because you don't get it back and you don't own it. If you're going to take out a loan for a mortgage, maybe you're just sick of renting, you don't like the apartment that you're in, or maybe just the landlord is not working out with you. So the idea is that you could always go purchase a home. You could go find a home that could fit your budget, and now you're not wasting money, right? You're actually making payments on something. You're going to actually own something. You'll have some collateral. You'll have some investment in a property. But the down payment is the first step.
But then
right?
you have to have credit.
Yeah, you have to have credit. So you do have to establish some stuff before you get to this point in your life. You have to have a pretty stable job that you can make your payments and be able to afford it, especially insurances and all the utilities. It's a pretty sizable commitment. So, but a down payment is that first baby step. It is your first payment before you take out your loan. It is the first payment on the home. It's the first payment on the loan before you take a loan. Okay, now I'm just going to talk about how to calculate a down payment today, and then I'm going to show you how much money that actually saves you tomorrow and Friday. Okay, I'll use my example that I did here in Garner. So I said I did like a pretty sizable chunk. I did 20% down payment on my home. I want to show you what that would save me in the long run. Okay, why I chose to do that huge payment and basically wiped out my entire savings up to that point in my life. I didn't actually buy my first home until I was almost 30. So
like for my dad said, like for like insurance or like retirement, that you should match it. So like whatever.
That's different. That's on some retirement, fund.
Or like they put money, certain amount of money of your paycheck away, and they match it, so when it doubles.
Yeah, those are investments. That's the later unit that we do. That's actually one of almost the last units we do.
Because my dad's like, I wasn't really matching it, and he's like, I regret it nowadays.
Yeah, we'll eventually talk about investments. Oh yeah. So, but let's talk about our down payment. So I'm just going to use the example of my home. So when I bought my home in Garner, the agreement that I had was $86,700. That was the loan, or that was the agreement that we made with the person that we purchased the home from. It was a very nice old lady that was kind of moving away to go live closer to her family. This was the agreement price for the home that we purchased here in Garner. And what I did when we first did it is I looked at what my savings was, and I tried to figure out what would be the maximum amount of payment I could make, because it would, number one, it would save me money in the long run, a lot of money in fact. You'll see that probably tomorrow and Friday. But what would also lower my monthly payments. down to a point where I could afford the house per month, and I didn't have to worry about it. It didn't even stress me out. But it was a substantial amount. I looked at my entire savings and went, okay, I'm going to dump all this in. What would that do for me? Would it even save me money? How much money would it save? It was a pretty smart investment at the time, because I was really tempted to invest it into the stock market and just let that kind of just build for a while. I probably should have done that in the long run, but it actually saved me a lot of money that I didn't. But anyway, so 86,000. And what I did is, for a down payment, you have to have a percent. So for a down payment, the bank will ask you to make a certain percentage of that payment. So 100% is paying all of it at once. Most people don't do that, not even close to it. So they ask you for a down payment. It could be 5%, it could be 10%, 15, 20. They will ask you for a certain percentage. Maybe it's they looked at your credit score, and they looked at how much money you owe in student loans and other loans, and they say, okay, we don't feel comfortable you taking out this loan for this amount. If you could put a 15% down payment, credit-wise, you'll be fine, and it won't ruin your credit, okay? Because credit is this fictitious number that they look at how much money you've borrowed, and your credit score is based on how much equity you have left, how much money you have left to make payments, and they don't want you to stretch too far where you can't make the payment. They have this number they gauge. Well, what I did is, I didn't even give them the option. I said I was going to make a 20% down payment. I told them I was going to put a huge amount down, and they didn't believe me. I said I was going to make 20% down on this house, and so that's a significant number. Okay, this was from working during the summers at Larson, and working, at all 4 years in high school. Like, I saved every penny I had, other than paying for my car that I purchased. So 20%. So I'm taking 20% as a decimal is 0.20. You always move the decimal over 2 spots, whatever that percent is. So if it's 5%, it's 0.05. You always move it over 2 spots. And you're going to multiply this number on the 86,700. And this is how much money I put down for that home. Okay, so if you have a calculator, so 86,700 times 0.20 times 0.2, that was pretty close. I put a little bit less than this down. It was a little bit less than 20%. I made about a $16,000 payment right off the bat. Boom, my whole savings was gone. Everything, every penny. And I worked lots of summers up to the point when I was 30 and saved every penny I could at the time. So that was my first down payment. Okay, and so what that means is that once I made my payment, I wrote a check. Then that means the loan that I'm going to take for the home, because I'm going to have to borrow money for the house, I'm taking that $86,000 that we agreed to for the real estate agent, and I'm going to subtract this number off the top. And this is the loan that I had to take out for the bank. So that's the mortgage loan that I'm making. So 86,700. I'm going to subtract the 17,340. And so the loan that I'm actually taking out at this point, it was about right. It was about this. 69,360. It was close. It was like 71 or something like that. So that was the loan that I took out. Now again, they're looking at my credit score. They're looking at everything, because again, I had a car loan that I had. I have a student loan. I didn't have any medical bills. I didn't even have a credit card at the time. So my credit score was pretty nonchalant. It was pretty basic. So, but yeah, so there you go. That was the down payment. So this is the loan. This is the mortgage I'm gonna have to take out, and then that's what we're gonna talk about tomorrow. Like, what is a mortgage? How do they calculate it? What would that cost you in the long run? So that's the little stuff we're gonna introduce tomorrow. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Friday we'll probably look at an in-class assignment. Probably another Google form of some type, where we'll do down payments. We'll do what that compound interest loan would be, what your monthly payments would be on the home, how much money you spend total on that home. there'll be some serious math we're gonna do these next couple days. So if you know you're gonna be gone, just make sure you watch the videos, go through that. Okay, all right, questions? All right, that's it for today, pretty easy.